Plus this.
On a search for explosive devices in the dead of night, 2 men are gunned down. I'm Dale Russell. Listen to the story of the soldiers who were forced to make split-second decisions.
They call themselves the Punishers, Georgians on a dangerous mission in the middle of the night in the heart of Iraq. Well, tonight, Fox 5's cameras take you right alongside them. In Iraq, Georgia's 48th Brigade runs missions day and night. The brigade was responsible for a territory covering parts of Baghdad and further south in an area known as the Triangle of Death.
Now, the missions vary. Sometimes soldiers search for insurgents or weapons. Sometimes they clear bombs from the roads. Our Dale Russell and photojournalist Mike Daly found that every mission is different, and many of them, it sounds like, are dangerous.
Russ, on this one, we the mortar team from the 108th Armor Regiment in a forward operating base in Mahmudiyah. It's about 15 to 20 miles south of Baghdad. We found soldiers working round the clock who sometimes are forced to make split-second life and death decisions. They call themselves the Punishers, the 108th Armor's mortar team. And by the end of the first night, we could see why they chose the name. Camp Michael in Mahmudiyah, about 20 miles south of Baghdad. It is a vast wasteland of dust, tents, ramshackle buildings, and more dust. In America, you would tear this down and start all over. In Iraq, for members of the 108th Mortar Team, it is home.
2 of these can put us out of commission, hurt us bad. All 3 of this here will kill us.
Here, team members like Sergeant Michael Perez of Columbus collect roadside bombs like bric-a-brac.
That's what we're scared about.
15 of these Iraqi bombs have ripped through the Punishers' Humvee since May. 7 mortar team soldiers have Purple Hearts. Across Iraq, roadside bombs are the #1 killer of American troops, including 11 members of the Georgia 48th Brigade. The mortar team has 2 main jobs: escort detonation teams that safely dispose of those roadside bombs and respond to mortar fire from insurgents. That's a 125-millimeter howitzer. It's an outgoing round. They're searching for what they call here the point of origin. They're able to track the mortar rounds that come into the forward operating base here. And this is a cat and mouse game. This allows the United States military to fire back. The Punishers have no clock to punch. They're on call 24 hours a day.
This is home.
Private time is hard to come by. Home is a picture tacked to a wall. Specialist Michael Cook is from Douglasville, where he is an insurance adjuster. He just returned from a 2-week leave. During the break, he got married. He wants to go home to his family, but on his own terms.
If I get killed by an ID, that'd probably be a lot better than losing parts. I'd rather not go back to the States missing something.
At dusk, the incessant crackle of gunfire accompanies the sun to bed. There are round-the-clock planning sessions, and then word. A local Iraqi farmer has warned soldiers about a roadside bomb near his farm.
The Iraqi civilians who just want to live a good life, they, are helping us out a lot by doing that.
It is blackout conditions. The infrared headlights on the Humvees can only be seen through night vision goggles. After a 15-minute ride, we stop. Soldiers begin a heart-pounding search for bombs.
Get out, check around the vehicle, make sure there's no wires.
They found the suspected explosive device. It's about 50 yards up the road there. Right now they're using a remote-control guided robot with a camera so they can find the device and then detonate it. Immediately after the explosion, 1, possibly 2 shots were fired at the convoy. A gunner's face is scratched by shrapnel. Soldiers use infrared lights to check the damage. Later in the night, more bombs are found. While soldiers scour the roadside, the gunners using thermal vision sights search for the triggermen. Roadside bombs are detonated by locals hired by insurgents to do their dirty work. This is our second stop of the night. Once again, they found two potential explosive devices down that road right there. But when we came to a stop, the gunner spotted two men in the woods behind this house here.
Hey, you got a possible target here, 9 o'clock, Palm Grove.
There is a curfew, and the two men are within 100 yards of two roadside bombs. Soldiers fire a warning shot. The warning does no good. The men are running. Gunners open fire.
I can take them out! All right, hold your fire.
The firing stops. It is all over in 2 minutes. A patrol finds two middle-aged Iraqi men. They live in a nearby house. Both soon die. The two roadside bombs are safely detonated. The banter heard earlier in the evening has died down. We drive back in silence. The bodies in the trunk of our Humvee are headed for the local morgue.
It's ridiculously hard because you never see anybody. Oh, you just ride down the road and next thing you know your vehicle just blows up. You hardly ever see any enemy. They hide in the trees and they hide in the ditches and everything.
Back at Camp Michael, 4:30 in the morning, Sergeant Ryan Cooper, a Cobb County deputy sheriff back home, says the next day will bring more bombs on the same road, sometimes even in the same holes. Sergeant Cooper reflects on the close calls he has had, and the night a bomb exploded directly under his Humvee.
For a split second there, you know, I thought that was it. I thought I wasn't going to see my wife again, and she was pregnant at the time, and it just, you know, freaked me out a little bit, but I got out of the vehicle and got all my guys out and sat there and watched it for an hour or so and thought, you know what, they missed. So I got another day.
Now, photojournalist Mike Daly and I left a few hours later and traveled to Lutafia to watch soldiers prepare for the October 15th referendum. Soldiers of the 108th Mortar Team got up and went out on another mission. It was their other day. Tomorrow at 6 and at 10, we'll show you how Georgia soldiers helped prepare for the election and the dangers of driving the streets of Baghdad in those baited roads in Humvees. Also on Good Day tomorrow, I'll talk about some of the personal recollections from the trip with a well-known Atlanta radio personality who went with us. Russ, Amanda?
Now, from the soldiers you talked to, do you get the feeling that they feel like they're making progress against the insurgency or not?
You know, we ask them that all the time. Everybody I talk to, we ask that, and they insist that they're making progress, and they judge it in many ways by the relationships that they have developed, especially with the local tribal leaders. In fact, one of the interesting stories that we heard was Lieutenant Colonel John King, who is the head of the 108th Armor. He's the Dorville police chief. He was coming back from leave the day that we got there in Mahmadiyah, and the local sheikhs were meeting him to have a little party for him. They brought in a cake to celebrate the fact that he was back. They said they've developed these kind of one-on-one relationships that allow them to get information from the locals there in the area. They believe that's critical.
But still, day to day, they're putting their lives on the line. And at night.
These guys started 20 hours earlier on the day that we met up with them. They had a 20-hour day. And like I said, we slept for about 3 hours, and Mike and I got up and left. They got up the next day, and I understood they went out again. About 2.5 weeks, close to 3 weeks after we left that very same area on those roads that we were driving around, 4 soldiers from the Task Force Baghdad were killed by a roadside bomb. This is what those soldiers face every day since they've been there since May.
All right, we'll look forward to more of your recollections on a Good Day and tomorrow at 6 and 10. Dale, thanks.